Hello there. Welcome to Once Upon a Turkey Leg. There it is. There's my banner. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I've got some good stories for you tonight. I'll wait a couple minutes before I get going into those. Hope everyone is having a gobble-tastic week. And had a good week. Went back to work at Wendy's after taking a few months, or maybe a month and a half to 2 months off to kind of deal with some things, and I'm back. So that's good. And yes. So I do have one thing that I want to show and a little bit of an announcement, and I'll do this at the end as well. This is kind of a new thing. I did a thing. I've known about the company Sticker Mule for a while, and they make custom stickers and magnets, ornaments, things for your channel. So I went and ordered stickers with my logo on them. And so they came, and just in time because I'm getting ready to send out Valentine's Day cards. So if you would like a sticker with my logo, I will include it in one of my Valentine's Day cards. Let me show you this banner. Instagram at Dean the Turkey Legster or at Newsflash Disney. That's 2 pages that I have. Also Facebook. I'm on there. I've got a Facebook page, Dean the Turkey Legster. Gonna be trying in February to be more active on that page. If you happen to be on Facebook, I'll be a little bit active over there more coming up here, starting in the coming couple of weeks. Twitter at Turkey Legster. I'm not too active on there. You can also email me at theturkeylegster@gmail.com. So actually, Twitter is probably the least, I'm probably the least active on Twitter. But any of those other methods, Instagram would be probably the best one on either one of those 2 pages. My main, anyway, yeah, I'm getting wordy here, but at Dean the Turkey Legster on Instagram or the email turkeylegster@gmail.com. Send me there. Very simple. Let me come back to this one. So tonight I have a couple of stories. And couple of stories to read tonight, as always. 2 stories. And I think it's time to get right into the stories, because that's why we're here. So this is a Disney, it's a more of a modern / recent Disney classic everyone knows and loves. I think, I hope. Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Beauty and the Beast. Here we go. Oh, welcome back, Tina, and hello, Chuck, and hello to Mandy Adams. Was in the chat earlier. I should have done that earlier. So okay. So So here we go with Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful young girl named Belle. She loved to read and could often be seen wandering through her village with a book. Belle lived with her father, Maurice, who was an inventor. One day, Maurice went to a fair. On the way home, a bad storm broke out, and he took shelter inside a dark castle. But the master of the castle was an angry beast, and once he discovered Maurice, he would not let him leave. Belle searched for her father when he didn't return home. She soon came to the castle and went inside. "Hello? Is anyone here?" she called as she walked through the hallways. A wooden mantel clock and a fancy candelabrum were sitting on one of the tables. Belle didn't see them, but they noticed her. "It's a girl, Lumiere!" cried Lumiere, the candelabrum. Once Belle had passed, he jumped to the floor. "She's the one! The girl we have been waiting for! She's come to break the spell!" Many years earlier, Lumiere and Cogsworth, the clock, had been human, along with lots of the other objects in the castle. But their master, the prince, and his castle had been put under a spell. The servants had been changed into enchanted objects, such as the clock and the candelabrum, or candle, while the prince had been turned into an awful beast. The spell could only be broken if, by his 21st year, the beast fell in love with a girl who loved him in return. There's Lumiere and Cogsworth. Lumiere and Cogsworth followed Belle. Before long, she came to the dungeon where her father was locked up. "Papa!" she exclaimed. She knelt down to touch his hand. "You must go," Maurice cried, but it was already too late. The beast had entered the room. Belle was not afraid, though. "I have come for my father. Please let him out," she said sternly. "She is my prisoner," the beast growled. "Take me instead," Belle offered. "You would take his place?" the beast asked, astonished. Belle agreed, and the beast dragged Maurice from his cell and sent him away. On his way back to the dungeon, Lumiere suggested that his master find Belle a more comfortable place to stay than the cold, dark cell. The beast was not hard-hearted, though his manners were rough and his temper terrible. When he saw Belle sobbing, he softened. "Follow me," he demanded, and led her to a much nicer room. "Dinner," Lumiere whispered in the beast's ear. "Invite her to dinner." "You will join me for dinner," the beast commanded before he slammed the door shut. Soon some of the servants stopped by to introduce themselves. Mrs. Potts, the teapot, and her son, Chip, a teacup, offered Belle a spot of tea. She was surprised that the servants were enchanted objects, but she liked them at once. They couldn't convince her to go to dinner, though. Cogsworth finally broke the bad news to the beast. "She's not coming," he said. The beast went to Belle's room and pounded on the door. "I thought I told you to come down to dinner," he growled. "I'm not hungry," Belle replied. "Please," Cogsworth quietly urged the beast, "attempt to be a gentleman." "It would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner," the beast managed. But Belle still said no. She would not eat with the creature who was holding her captive. The beast stormed off. "If she doesn't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all," he roared. Later that night, Belle sneaked out of her room and tiptoed downstairs. When she went to the kitchen, a strange sight met her eyes. All the dishes, the pots and pans, the stove, and the silverware were alive, just like all the other objects she'd met. They had been upset when she'd refused to come to dinner because they were eager to impress her. They were never guests at the castle anymore. "I am a little hungry," Belle admitted. "You are?" asked Mrs. Potts, who had been the castle cook. "Wake the china. I'm not about to let the poor child go hungry." Belle had been hoping for a bite to eat. Instead, she got a full-blown feast. Beef and cheese, pie and pudding. Belle had never had such a meal. Her new friends treated her like a princess. After dinner, Belle wanted to explore. "It's my first time in an enchanted castle," she told the servants. Let me show this picture first. This is the dinner. Be our guest, be our guest, a service to the just. Da 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 ba da ba 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 ba. Anyway, after dinner, Belle wanted to explore. "It's my first time in an enchanted castle," she told the servants. Cogsworth and Lumiere led her around, showing her paintings, tapestries, and armor. "What's up there?" Belle asked when they came to a very long staircase. It was the West Wing, and everyone was forbidden to go there. Cogsworth and Lumiere tried to lead Belle in another direction, but she slipped by them and climbed the stairs. The steps. The stairs. Behind the door at the top was a wreck of a room. Furniture was torn apart. A painting of a handsome prince was ripped down the middle. The only thing intact was a single rose under glass, and even its petals had started to fall off. Once the last petal fell from the rose, the spell over the castle could never be broken. But Belle didn't know about the spell. Suddenly, the beast's shadow fell over her. "Get out!" he yelled and started to smash things. Belle ran down the stairs, past Lumiere and Cogsworth. "Promise or no promise," she cried. "I can't stay here another minute." She dashed out the front door, grabbed her horse, and rode into the dark forest. But the forest was not safe. It was full of wolves. They chased after Belle. She tried to hold them back with a stick, but it snapped in two. Oh, but they snapped it in two. Suddenly the beast appeared. He growled at the wolves and tossed them right and left. They bit his neck and clawed at his fur, but he managed to fight them off. At last the wolves ran away. Since the beast had gotten hurt while protecting her, Belle didn't feel right about leaving. She took him back to the castle and nursed his wounds. "Thank you for saving my life," she said. Day by day, the beast and Belle got to know each other better. They ate together. They played in the snow together. One day, the beast shared his library with her. She had never seen so many books. And one evening, they danced together. The servants were overjoyed. They could tell that the beast was falling in love with Belle, and Belle with the beast. But Belle was very concerned about her father's health. She wanted to go see him. Because the beast loved her, he decided to let her go, even though it meant he wouldn't be able to break the spell. With a last glance toward the beast, Belle left the castle and went to her father. When the villagers heard that the beast had captured Belle, they attacked the castle, even though she told them how nice he'd been. Lumiere and Cogsworth came up with a plan to defend the castle. When the villagers stormed inside, some of the enchanted furniture fell on them. Teacups poured scalding tea on their heads. Cabinet doors flew open and knocked people down, and knives and forks soared through the air. The villagers ran out of the gates, screaming, but during the fighting, the beast had been badly hurt. Belle returned to the castle to find him wounded and dying. "Beast!" she cried, kneeling beside him. "Belle," he said, gasping, "you came back." He was weak, though, and his eyes closed soon. Oh, and soon his eyes closed. "Please don't leave me," Belle sobbed. Then, just in time, she added 3 magic words. "I love you." Tiny comets showered down on the beast. As Belle watched, the beast's claws became hands and his fur changed to human skin. He became the prince he once had been, now that Belle had broken the spell. "Belle, it's me," he said. She looked deep into his eyes. "It is you," she cried happily. Cogsworth, Lumiere, Mrs. Potts, Chip, and all the other servants returned to their human forms too. Belle leaned in and kissed her prince. "Are they gonna live happily ever after, Mama?" Chip asked. "Of course, dear," Mrs. Potts said with a happy sigh. "Of course." Na 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 na. Na 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 na. And that is Beauty and the Beast. And hello to Amy at AGC Magic TV. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. That was the first story, The Beauty and the Beast. And I went looking in my books, and I've got another story featuring the characters from The Beauty and the Beast. This is the bedtime story, and this is our second story tonight. So without further ado, here is the second story. The sun was setting over the beast castle. Outside, the world was snowy and cold, but inside, Belle felt quite cozy. She had spent the past few days outside, taking her horse, Philippe, on strolls and even having snowball fights with the beast. Belle watched through her window as the beast walked Philippe to the stables. Pausing, he gave the horse an awkward but kind pat with his large paw. Suddenly, Chip bounced in. "Belle, Belle!" he called. "It's story time!" "Now, now, Chip," Mrs. Potts said, coming in behind her son. "You must wait for Belle to offer to read you a story. Perhaps she is tired and wishes to go to bed." "I'm all right," Belle replied, smiling. She'd gotten into the habit of reading bedtime stories with her new friends, and she'd been looking forward to it all day. "Let's go down to the library." "Yippee!" Chip cried as he bounced out of the room. Lumiere and Cogsworth were already in the library when the trio arrived. The pair had pulled Belle's favorite chair close to the crackling fire. A warm blanket rested over the back, and a thick book with a worn leather cover sat on the seat. "I thought perhaps we could read this one tonight," Cogsworth suggested, pointing at the book. Lumiere peered at the cover. "Helmets through the ages? A detailed history of headwear," he read aloud. "Ah, no. There must be some excitement, some drama, perhaps a l'amour." "Let's read an adventure story, one with big, scary monsters," Chip exclaimed. "Nothing too scary, love," Mrs. Potts said gently. "You don't want to have nightmares." Belle thought for a moment, her eyes skimming the colorful spines that lined the walls around them. Everyone wanted to read something so different. How would she find a story that to make everyone happy? Then Belle had an idea. "Why don't we make up our own bedtime story tonight?" she suggested. "Our own story?" Chip asked, excited. "Yes," Belle clapped her hands. "We'll go around in a circle and each add a line or two. It'll be fun." "A marvelous idea, dear," Mrs. Potts said. "Magnifique," Lumiere agreed. "Quite," Cogsworth added. So the friends gathered around the fire, eager to begin. Everyone insisted that Belle go first. "Okay," she agreed. She thought for a moment and then began. Once upon a time, there was a knight named Sir Allard. Sir Allard was noble and brave. Wherever he went, he rode upon his trusty steed. She smiled, thinking of Philippe. Did they fight dragons? Chip shouted, bouncing eagerly. Belle laughed at the teacup. Why don't you go next and tell us? Sir Allard went on lots of adventures. He fought big, scary dragons and saved lots of princesses, Chip said. People came to his castle from all over to ask for his help. Oh, I believe I have something to add, Cogsworth said. Wonderful, Belle said encouragingly. Sir Allard's castle was of the concentric variety, a vast improvement on the Motte and Bailey Castle. The concentric design was a combination of the shell keep and the rectangular keep. It had many lines of defense in the form of multiple stone walls. The stone that was used was particularly interesting. Cogsworth paused as he noticed Lumiere gesturing for him to finish his part. Well, yes, I suppose that was a few lines, Cogsworth sputtered. You gave us great details about the setting, Belle said kindly. Lumiere, would you like to continue? But of course, the candelabrum said. One day our hero was Sir Allard, heard about a ferocious dragon. As all brave knights know, where there is a dragon, there is often a princess. And so, dreaming of rescuing the princess and finding true love, Sir Allard set off to find the dragon. He soon found himself in an enchanted forest, a forest that was so dreadfully dark that he could not see. Oh, Mrs. Potts exclaimed, I know what happens next. As Sir Allard's eyes adjusted, he saw something large resting in the distance, Mrs. Potts said. It appeared to be a dragon, but the creature didn't look like the knight thought it would. In fact, it looked a bit sad. What did he do, Mamma? Chip asked. Well, now, I've had my turn, Chip, Mrs. Potts said. We've all had our turns, Cogsworth exclaimed. Who will finish the tale? Suddenly, a cough came from just outside the library door. The group turned to see the beast standing in the doorway. He had been listening to their story the whole time. Hello, Belle called. Would you care to come in and help us finish the story? No, the beast said gruffly, turning to leave. I wouldn't know what to say. Ugh, you can do it, Lumiere said. It's easy, Chip added. Please, Belle said, motioning for him to pull up a chair. All right, The beast strode over and sat next to Belle. Well, I thought that. Maybe. I don't know. This is ridiculous, he said, fidgeting nervously. Belle put her hand on his paw and smiled encouragingly. He looked at it, then tried again. The knight saw that the dragon was upset and lonely. So Sir Allard talked to him, and something very unlikely happened. The two of them became, well, friends. The end. The room was quiet for a moment. Then everyone began to speak at once. Très bien, Lumiere exclaimed. Splendid, sir, Cogsworth cried. Very well done indeed, Mrs. Potts said. Yes, Belle said. That was a wonderful bedtime story. She smiled at the beast, who seemed to keep surprising her, with the most perfect ending. And that is the end of the bedtime story. And that was, one second. Okay. And that was the second story tonight. Hope you all enjoyed that very much tonight. Once again, I am going to be working on sending out Valentine's Day cards, and I would like to send one to some people this year. Connect with me on any of these methods, Instagram or the email that's listed there. Actually, probably the two best ones, but I will be including these brand new stickers that I just ordered with my cards this over the next couple of weeks. I'll be working on those, sending them out. If you have mailed something to me already in the past, then I already have your address and will be sending to you. But anyway, I'll be working on those over the next couple of weeks. So yeah. So with that, thank you all for coming in. I'll be back next Thursday with another edition of Once Upon a Turkey Leg. More stories! So you'll have to come back to find out which stories I'm reading because I don't even know. And then in February, I will be bringing back my Tuesday night streams. I'll be announcing more about that with time. Still working out details on that. But until then, come back next Thursday and the next Thursday and then every Thursday for stories at 9 o'clock. So anyway, everyone, thank you for watching live on the replay. Thank you so much. If you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments that you were watching, and I will respond to that promptly. I wanted to shout out a stream I did this week. These are some beads that I was thrown. They threw beads at me. On Monday, I watched, I went down the street and watched the, where I live, they had a Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade, and I actually streamed it. There's a stream on the channel I did earlier this week. If you haven't watched that already, it's up there. Anyway, that's why I wanted to wear these beads. They threw beads, they threw candy and snacks. out to me. So it was a fun little parade, and you can see that live on my channel. And so anyway, wanted to shout that out. It was a good time right here in the town. So that was a lot of fun. So anyway, that does it for tonight. Thank you everybody for coming and watching, and take care. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. So take care, everybody. Da 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 da.